Ha. Hoo ha ha.
Oh, that's another Pixar movie.
Is it?
That's fine. Was that Finding Nemo that you were trying to do? That is like the.
Oh, I had no idea. I was just making noises. That's what we always do when we
good noises.
Sync up. Yeah, good noises. Good noises. We know so that the audience knows that we're on top of our game.
Here, I'll make a noise. That's my trademark noise now. No one else can make that, or they owe me $1 billion.
All right. Should we get started on the talking?
Yes.
All right, then. Well, in that case, welcome to Everything But Music, folks. It's the podcast where we don't talk about music at all, although next week or next 2 weeks, the next episode we do, I'm thinking we're going to tackle the new Gorillaz album and Gorillaz in general, but that's for later.
That's for future musics.
Yes, future musics, which, again, we don't do.
Except when we do do exactly that.
Yes, exactly.
And it always comes as a surprise when we do that because we don't ever announce it in advance.
We never announce anything that we do here in advance. We just say, hey, there's a new podcast coming, and then people just, like the sheeple that they are.
Ugh. I'm just millennials.
We could just run an empire here if we wanted to.
Probably.
Yeah. Just spewing out podcasts and forcing people to watch
nothing but to listen with their ear eyes.
Ear eyes?
Yeah, they're like eyes, but you use them for hearing things.
It's like the eyes that are in your ears or ears that are in your eyes.
Yeah, people should really come up with a specific name for those and everything else on the face instead of just calling it, the smell eyes, the eating eyes. It'd be great if we had different names for those features.
Get on that, Congress.
I was gonna say if science and maybe Congress could form a joint committee to make that happen, I'd really appreciate that. I think that'd be a good use of everyone's time.
You know what else is a good use of everyone's time? Talking about the things that are relevant to today's podcast, which is Incredibles 2. Woo!
The Incredibler.
We were originally going to talk about Deadpool 2, but this movie just so happened to come up very close to the time that we were going to talk about, so we just figured why not.
And it's more interesting to talk about and less lame.
I mean, I like Deadpool 2, but I do remember distinctively saying I liked it a little bit better than the first. But, yeah, those are my thoughts, at least. What about you? Fuck. And hello, everyone. Welcome back to Everything But a Stable Internet.
Hey. Well, it was weird because, it was slowly breaking down, and then it was just nothing.
That's not going to be picked up on the audio because we record locally, but that would have been nice for the audience to hear.
It was just
breaking down to the abyss. Okay. So I believe I asked you on your thoughts on Deadpool 2, because did you hear mine?
I remember you. I think the word in the last sentence that I made out was Deadpool 2.
Well, I'll just repeat it again. I thought Deadpool 2 was slightly better than the first one. What about you?
Oh, I hated it. I thought it was terrible, and I liked the first one. It was just a truly miserable movie experience, and I don't know what they were thinking. So I'm glad that we're together on this one.
Very much so. We can be even more together on our thoughts on Incredibles 2. Hey!
Well, we're probably a little closer on that.
I'd say so. All right, so of course we got to talk about the first Incredibles because we have to, because
it's the law. If we don't do it, then Ted Cruz is going to come down and he's going to dunk a basketball over our heads.
And Brad Bird will see to it that we get the death penalty.
Brad Bird is also a key informant at the FBI. He'll have us secretly murdered.
While we're in prison as well. God, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, send us to prison first after a lengthy trial, and then just have us murdered as soon as we show up in prison.
Yeah, ironic, because we were already on death row.
It'll waste a lot of taxpayer dollars, but it'll be really cathartic for Mr. Brad Bird.
Yeah. Very, very much so. All right, but real talk. The first film is probably one of my favorite films of all time, like animated or otherwise. It's just fantastic. Looks great, sounds great. Story's simple, but they do it so effectively, and I love the world. I love the style. It's very good.
It is a very, very good movie. I do see a lot of people saying it's like up there with their favorites of all time, and it's not really for me, but it is definitely one of the it's on, like, it's definitely one of the top tier Pixar, at least, and I quite enjoy it.
Very much so. What is your favorite Pixar movie?
Assuming that the first half of WALL-E is not a valid answer,
it could be.
Then probably Ratatouille and, like, then Incredibles, maybe.
Yeah, both by Brad Bird, so they have something in common. Whenever Brad Bird does a Pixar movie, it's always going to be good, for the most part.
Yeah, I wish I could say just first half of WALL-E, because first half of WALL-E that's really good, and then the second half comes, and there's more of the movie, and the second half is very bad, actually.
It was alright. It pales in comparison, but definitely. I'd say, for me, probably... Like I like both Ratatouille and WALL-E, but it's like a 3-way tie between Toy Story 2, The Incredibles, and Up.
See, I don't like Up. I'm a heathen in that way. I don't like it.
That's also fine. There are things to dislike about Up, but I just see past it because I just think it's done well, and
it's got a lot of good boys in that movie.
Yes, very much. A lot of good old men too.
Two of them at least. Well, those are just old boys. Wait, is Up by Brad Bird?
Oh, I wish.
Or is he star in the movie as the bird?
I think not, but that was definitely a missed opportunity. And now that you pointed that out, it's probably my least favorite Pixar film.
That would have been. I feel like that would have been very good if they had maybe him voice the bird and he said, "Hello, my name is Brad." Everyone in the theater that was in the know would have a nice little chuckle at that one.
Just forget about that introduction. That's the best moment of the film.
Yeah,
Why don't you do it, Pixar?
Exactly. Hello, I'm Brad the bird. Scene over. Moving on.
Moving on to Pixar in the 2010s. I'd say they're kind of in a bit of a
slump is fair.
Yeah, I guess so. I was gonna say slog actually, but slump's better.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, well, there's only like one word that begins with SL and describes a down period in a person's career that people use, but you switch it up on me. I mean, I think the last movie they had that everyone agreed was like a really standout film was Inside Out.
Yeah,
and I don't like Inside Out very much. I'm very mean. I'm a mean little man. I don't hate it. It's just it's fine.
Yeah.
But a lot of the rest of their output is not, like, Good Dinosaur. No one cares.
I've never seen that. Probably never will.
Finding Dory, like, people.
Solid. It was all right.
People, I think that was the general consensus was like, it's all right. It's fine.
I mean, critics adored it because.
Well, critics tend to adore most Pixar things, except Good Dinosaur. Even they didn't care about Good Dinosaur.
And Cars 2.
Cars 2 is not. Cars 2 is not a movie for humans. I don't know who it is for.
The only ones I've seen this decade from Pixar were Toy Story 3, Inside Out, Finding Dory, and just now Incredibles 2. I have not seen the other 7, so I apologize. I apologize for being a heathen as well. If for some reason, if anyone happens to like the other films that
I mean, they are indeed movies for children.
Yeah.
So not necessarily like our responsibility to go see them and support them in the movie theater. Now, I don't think that is clear to everyone that these are movies for children.
Right, but it's just that they tend to have a lot of themes that even adults can connect to.
That is true. Oh wait, I forgot that Pixar made Coco. Everyone loves Coco, and Coco actually, I was wrong. I don't know why I forgot Coco existed. Coco is the best Pixar movie.
I haven't seen Coco yet.
It's very good. That one got me right back on the. I got not really on the Pixar train, but now it's got me like, we're ticking upward in how I feel about the Pixars.
I've heard it's another one of those it'll make you cry movies, but like again, I've said it once, I'll say it again. The only movie that's ever made me cry was when I saw Spider-Man 3 when I was 12.
Oh my god, it's Spider-Man 3.
Yes.
And when he said, "Make me some cookies with nuts in them," I cried a little bit.
I cried the entire time. No, I didn't. But
did you cry when he went outside on the sidewalk and did the little dance?
I wish.
Was that what made you cry? Was that what brought a tear to your? Was that what brought a tear to your seeing eyes?
I guess, but that was more just crying of fear. I think because I
Probably.
didn't know what I was watching, and I haven't seen the movie since then. So I mean, I know now it's like total trash. But like introduction of Up and Toy Story 3 and now Coco, I assume, at least because again I haven't seen it, probably not going to. Maybe I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I cried so much at Coco," and I'm just like, well, I just have a cold, emotionless heart, so I'm not gonna bother.
A lot of people. Well, I saw with my boyfriend. My boyfriend did indeed cry. However, my boyfriend also cried twice before Incredibles 2 began. And when we actually I'll discuss why, but there were multiple, so that's maybe not the best indicator of how much you are going to cry.
I mean, and again, it's fine to cry if you want to.
Crying is very good.
I don't like the feeling. I just don't. I'm sorry.
Don't like to be leaking out of your seeing eyes.
Yeah, the emotions. I'm a cold, emotionless human being. I don't like crying very much. But anyway, but back on I think we did touch on the first Incredibles, right? We said it was great. It was a very good film.
Very good.
Very much good. So I suppose now that we have all of that out of the way, we can get on to Incredibles 2. Except we have one more thing we got to talk about. We have to talk about, of course, the short that came before the film.
Well, there is the short. I was going to say, you might have assumed that was one of the two moments during which my boyfriend cried. The other one was during the trailer for Christopher Robin.
Oh, yeah.
The waterworks were maybe even stronger during that period.
It looks all right.
It does. He's just a baby. Now, here's a little quick backstory that is relevant. We saw this movie on Thursday, on the first day it came out. We were eating dinner at or lunch, I suppose, at our favorite dining establishment, Chili's.
Nice.
And I looked up the movie times and we realized it was out today. And despite the fact that we had plans to see it with a group today, being Sunday, we decided that he could not wait to see it and went and saw it just then. We are still seeing it with that group today. However, we need to not kind of give away the little secret that we have already seen it and abandoned everyone else in our group to do so.
Well, I'm sorry for making it a bit harder for that.
But here's the deal, is that I'm so confident that he is going to cry exactly the same amount at the trailer and short that he's already seen that I think we're going to be in the clear, because everyone will be like, there's no way he would cry that much or maybe at all if he had already seen either of these, but he will still cry 100% again, maybe even more so.
Oh, yes, definitely.
But that being said, yes, the short is pretty dang cute.
It was very cute. The thing was, though, I made a horrible mistake in watching it because the short's called Bow, and it's about a mother has like a dumpling, makes dumplings. They look so good. They do
look really yummy. I wanted to eat the baby.
Yeah, the baby is one of the dumplings comes to life. So throughout the short, it's just kind of like the mother raising the baby,
the dumpling baby,
as its own. Yeah, and then as it's gone throughout, the dumpling eventually grows up into like some. I'm assuming it's an early 20s, mid 20s person.
Dumpling becomes a little shit. Little shit ass dumpling.
Yeah, but and then it eventually gets a wife. And it moves out.
Now, here's the thing. They just introduced that as if that's like a normal thing. And the immediate first thing when he brings home his very human wife is, this woman is fucking a dumpling. How you gonna fuck a dumpling?
Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore, Cam, because by the end of it, it's revealed that it was all an allegory, and the dumpling was actually a real person. It was her son, the mother's son.
Yeah, but still, if like that, they're asking me to consider that for maybe a very brief period of time. They're asking me to consider, what would their children look like? If maybe they did a sexual intercourse and made a little baby boy that was half dumpling, half human. How would he taste?
I asked the mother. Yeah, it's all very cute. It's all very nice. The thing was, though, I was thinking the mother was actually the brother or a brother.
Oh, okay.
Because my dumb white boy mind did not distinguish or even consider the fact that this could have been a feminine person, and up until the very end. Because like
it is definitely a very like stylized kind of animation style.
Yeah, like in the short chubby little character models certainly didn't help. And I was thinking, like, by the end, like, man, these brothers are really affectionate towards each other. Just like, oh, wait.
No, I understand.
Yeah, I'm a dumbass.
No, I thought it was cute. I didn't really get it. I don't I don't understand. Like, I got at the end, like, oh, the dumpling boy was actually a real human boy, and I was like, okay, that's great, but why?
Empty nest syndrome. That's what the whole thing was just displaying. Because again, the mother does not want the child to leave the nest.
No, I get that, but why did she imagine him as a dumpling?
Because she made dumplings. So,
but
I guess that was the first. If she made like tacos, you'd probably have a baby taco.
No, I get that, but I don't know what that is supposed to convey other than a little dumpling baby is cuter for us to show on screen than a little human baby. What I'm really getting at is I'm concerned that someone over at the Pixar studio really wanted an excuse for what if we need some vor. And how are we gonna get this into our short film? And they were like, what if, hear me out, dumpling baby,
get that man a raise.
And that's what I'm concerned about. I think it was a female director who did it.
Domi Shi is the director. So let's see. It was it's a female.
And I'm concerned that, like, fantastic, you did a nice job, you made a good little short film. Also, why is maybe it more centered around vor than I'd like it to be?
I don't know, maybe the mom just has dementia.
I am slightly concerned about that. Also, in pursuing your vor fantasy that you put into your Pixar short film, you might have incurred maybe a lawsuit from the Pillsbury Company.
I don't think they did, because Disney can get away with anything.
That's true, but still, if I'm Pillsbury, I'm like, what do we have at our disposal? 1, we have good croissants, and 2, we have that adorable, sweet little doughboy who you poke his belly and he goes, hoo-hoo. So they're stealing one of our 2 assets because he was very doughboy-y.
Unless they did that to him, which I don't think they did, then I don't think there's much of a comparison besides appearances alone.
That's true, but I would kind of like to... What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to kickstart this court case because I want to see a lawyers having to debate this, like, the similarities of these soft little white boys.
I forgot you mentioned that before we started this podcast. Here's the Kickstarter link for this court case, guys. For the
I want to fund Pillsbury to really go after Disney in court here, and have a battle of these little children.
Yeah, we're essentially funding everyone, though. We're funding the lawyer, the prosecutor, Disney, and Pillsbury.
It's gonna take a lot of money, except maybe if we could convince Disney to like spin this into their next short film.
Yeah, we want the Pillsbury Doughboy as a witness, and if we don't get it, then the fuck it, it's off.
Or maybe we can get NBC involved, make this a little episode of Law and Order SVU, and this time it's the soft victims unit because they're such little, cushy boys.
My witness did not eat that doughboy. Yes, she did. Okay, then.
Yeah, show me on this doll where the baker man touched you, and it's on his stomach because that's where they touched the little doughboy in the commercials.
Yeah, they just eat the doll.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I would do it, but the doll is the foot is hanging out of your mouth. I can see that you've eaten the witness.
No, it makes my job easier, so, whatever.
Objection? I guess?
It's a question mark. Several of them. The judge is just like the Kool-Aid man. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
That's the first thing that popped in my head. Kool-Aid man.
It's very difficult to try the case because he doesn't pop in until the very last minute through the wall. And then he just gives his verdict right there. He hasn't heard any of the details. He just pops in through the wall. Guilty! And they're like, this is not how that worked.
Yeah.
Want to talk about the actual, movie that we went to go see?
Yeah, let's stop talking about dumpling vor and start talking about the vor that's inside of us, in that our childhood feelings towards the first movie and the nostalgia that we feel towards it just being slowly eaten up as we watch the second one.
That's only partially true, I guess.
Yeah. But I guess we can just give out our general thoughts about the film at first before we deep dive into it.
Start. Is a spoiler warning necessary? I mean, why are you listening to this your podcast if you don't want the spoilers?
Yeah, either that or you just don't want to see the film, which it's understandable, but
this is not a no spoiler zone.
Yeah. So this is our last warning.
It's like skip to this point in the video. We'll skip to maybe the end of the video.
Go turn into a dumpling and get eaten by your mother.
And just hole up in there until our nasty video is over.
Yeah, and in 2 weeks we'll talk about gorillas, and then you can come back out. But anyway, so let us begin. I thought it was good. I liked it.
It's good. It's a nice little fun movie.
Yeah, it's fun.
I guess at the same time it's, for me, like painfully lame. And I don't know how much of that has to do with the first movie being so not lame.
In some respects, I see what you mean. Again, may as well say right now, it definitely does not live up to the first film. There's no way. Honestly, there's no way it could have.
It was unlikely to do that. And I feel like they took the route of, okay, so let's not really try.
Well,
which is fine.
Honestly, the first film kind of wrapped things up incredibly well. It stands on its own just so perfectly. But there was still room for a sequel in that heroes are still technically illegal in all over the world. So let's just take that angle.
And all right, there's something there.
Yeah.
But all of like, I think the main thing that just fell flat for me was any of the like attempts at like, I don't know, social commentary or any of the more heavy stuff that, you know, Incredibles 1 did deal with pretty effectively fell really, really flat in this one.
Yeah, there certainly was much less of that than there was in the first one.
There's a lot less of it, and that's okay, but there is still some of it, and what there is not very good.
Yeah, the first one just pretty much just bashing the corporate dream throughout the entire film. Just like, what was his name? I forgot the main character's name. Bob Parr or Mr. Incredible.
Bob or Mr. The Incredible Mr.
Yeah, him working at the insurance company and just like the general lack of care for the actual customers in favor of their investors. And the main villain of the first film, Syndrome, his main goal was ending up selling his inventions to other people so that they wouldn't be super. But he also makes money on the side as well. So it's all just like a very, very, very dark image of corporate ideas and such.
Which is you know, an interesting and consistent thread throughout the movie. Whereas in Incredibles 2, in the first 5 minutes, we have someone saying, politicians don't like people who do good things. And it's like, okay. You really. I mean, there's a reason that my entire letterboxed review of this film is nothing but "we live in a society," because I feel like that's kind of all that this one had to offer.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then like a lot of the stuff like felt not. I don't want to say forced, but a lot more tacked on. Like, I remember in the first movie, I feel like the people have, you know, their arguments about why they don't like the superheroes doing their thing.
Yeah.
And some of them make a good deal of sense. There are specific situations in which, you know, things go bad. In this one, it's just like, we're mad at you for doing this. And because we had insurance? Like, they kind of get mad at the Incredibles for trying to stop a dude from destroying the city under the guise that the one bank he also robbed had insurance, and that makes no sense. That's dumb. That's a stretch.
I mean, that certainly wasn't the case in the first film when that Bon Voyage guy got away and with the money. I mean, they were certainly much more worse things to be mad about. They're kind of petty, very petty. But in the second film, it just felt even more.
It just felt like they wanted to be like the people. Like it felt like, well, we're gonna be mean even if it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like
it's like it's kind of a problem I have with the second film in general. It just feels like they don't let things speak for themselves.
No, not at all.
Yeah, the first one just had. I don't want to go too much into it yet though, because the first one just had so many very good, understated, subtle moments about its environment and the world that it was in. The second one still has a couple of those, but it's more so. They don't really outright state it. It's not like telling it and not showing. It's more like they have it, but then they kind of praise or either dismiss those aspects. Which I mean is not as good as just like letting it speak for itself.
Yeah, this movie definitely feels kind of the need to just, you know, tell you what it wants to tell you, which is and there's just it's so much less compelling in the way that like I'm sure we'll get to it, but like the villain and like the villains of the two movies are such like, I think it's very telling like how different they are and how much less interesting the second one is.
But it's definitely not the Underminer who like appears at the first 15 minutes of the film and then never comes back again.
Yeah, that was weird. I was almost I was like, well, if you're gonna bring him back,
I mean, he's technically in the. If you don't know, there's a video game that's a now non-canon sequel to the first film called Rise of the Underminer. I have never played it, but if you want more of the Underminer, then
you want more Underminer.
Yeah. Because like, I don't even know what the fuck he is. He's like, he's like mole-ish, but he's still pretty human.
Is he a mole? Is he a mole boy? I don't know what his deal is. There's also like an owl man, and I'm like, is he actually an owl man, or is he just very dedicated to his costume?
Well, what we do know is that the heroes in here were born that way. They got those powers because they were given it like that. And as shown through Jack, they could have a variety of powers, but they eventually grow up and just stick to a singular one.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, again, it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting world that they have here, and even if it wasn't really necessary, it would have still have been interesting to see more of that. And I personally, like, I'm happy with that they tried that. Execution, not so much.
Yeah, and another thing that I'm seeing people praise this movie for, and I understand why, is that I see a lot of praise for it for like every character kind of getting their own arc, which I think is true, and
to an extent.
To an extent, I think most of the characters do have a pretty definitive arc. None of them are that compelling to me.
I
think just, because a character has an arc doesn't mean that I necessarily care, especially when so many of the arcs are so painfully basic.
Very, very much so.
I think the ones that like stand out are like Violet's and Bob's arcs in particular. Are very generic.
Very, yeah. I can kind of like appreciate that they at least stuck to their characters.
They did.
Yeah. But still, it just felt like it was expected. Like a lot of the movie was very predictable, which personally is not much of a flaw to me. Like as long as it's executed well, like even if they use the most basic of stories, then I can still enjoy it because that's what they did with the first film.
Yeah, it just feels a lot less significant.
Yeah.
Than the first one, and I think, especially with so much time between the two, you would kind of hope that they would, try to make an equally significant film, and that's what I mean. Like I feel like they didn't try that hard to follow up on Incredibles.
Yeah. It certainly felt like a little bit more of style over substance, whereas the first one had a lot of style, but a lot of substance. And yeah, because we are just essentially bashing this film so badly compared to the first one.
Yeah, neither of us dislike it.
Yeah, I still think it's a good film in spite of its flaws.
The one thing I can like wholeheartedly praise is the action scenes are very nice.
Oh yes, so good. I love the motorcycle scene in the beginning. I love it so much.
That's very good.
It's great. I get the action is just very well choreographed, very well animated as well. It's fun to watch. Very, very fun to watch. I think the only one I didn't care for was Jack and the Raccoon.
That was a little like very silly.
Yeah, it was silly. It was cute. It really wasn't too necessary. That was probably the only unnecessary aspect of the whole film because it's just like Jack fights the raccoon and the raccoon never appears again. Whereas they probably could have done, but the whole sequence was done in order to show that Bob now realizes that Jack has powers.
And I think that is a lot less significant than they assumed it was because we've known this. They literally made an entire short about Jack having a bunch of powers.
Yeah, but I mean, to the family's knowledge, though.
Oh yeah, they didn't know
because they reference this at the end of the first film. Like they, I mean, they heard the voicemails and stuff, but for anything like that, probably could have just been an alien invasion going on, which like that's probably just to be expected in this world.
More or less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want to go back to Mr. Incredible, like his character arc. He felt more selfish in this film.
I was going to say that he was very unlikable for a decent chunk of this movie.
Yeah, like I understand his plight, but
yeah, and I get it, but at the same time, like you're annoying me, dude. Stop being stop being such a little bitch.
He's just very much a superhero child at heart, just wanting to get back in the action, but no, his wife has to do it. I mean, the reason's understandable because I like that they chose her and not Frozone or Mr. Incredible because she costs the least amount of damage, or the damage that costs the least amount of money to fix.
That is kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, he just like, I don't know. I guess he got his comeuppance in taking care of the kids and Jack, and just like he looked like a tired man. He deserved those 17 hours of sleep.
Yeah, they did like truly make him look as gross as you would expect.
Yeah. So like at least the movie's self-aware enough to do that.
But yeah, still like he was. I'm just like, nah, you're just a dick. Stop.
Yeah, and the other characters are okay as well. Like Violet, I like her. She's probably. I keep thinking this to myself, and it's like, it's like not entirely truthful, but I think she was probably my favorite character in the first film.
Yeah, she's pretty dang good in the first one.
Because like. I just like what they did with her, and I liked her dialogue, I liked her demeanor, and I liked how she got that confidence by the end of the first film. And the second one, though, she still has that confidence, but now she's just your average bratty, understandably bratty, but still bratty teenager.
Kind of annoying.
Yeah. Who gets like embarrassed by their parents because they say stupid things to the boy that she likes. The boy that, funnily enough, completely forgot who she was.
I liked him. He's fun. He's a fun little cool. Character.
I liked him. He was kind of teetering on the unnecessary kind of side character that maybe I really probably didn't want to care about much, but he was still cool. He was still kind of cool. It was unfortunate that the sequence of events that led to his horrible memory loss. I mean,
yeah,
God bless him. But he was still a decent character, unexpectedly, I'd say. And Dash is just like, he's pretty much the same as the first film. And
yeah, Dash is the one like main family member who's just kind of there.
Yeah, he really didn't have much of an arc at all, other than like I can't do math.
He is the one character who kind of got left behind there.
I mean, of course, Elastigirl as well, Helen, as we say. She was cool too. She's just pretty much the same as the first film, and I think she felt a bit more. She felt they really like brought out the aspect of her, like, oh, I can't let the men do all the work, something like that. Not annoyingly so though, because she felt very, very determined, very confident in her actions, in her demeanor, in her overall appearance.
Yeah.
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 Here's the thing.
Okay.
She is bisexual. And I am literally basing this on 5 seconds of the film, but I'm not letting go of it.
Okay, hold on. All right. I'll hear you out, but don't tell me it's that one sequence in the trailer that everyone freaked out about.
Oh, I don't. What even is that?
The part where she was driving the motorcycle, she went past those people in the convertible. She waved at the one she waved at them in general. People were thinking she was waving at the girl.
No.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'm talking about
Okay.
Violet, not.
Oh, you're talking about Violet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I lost the plot there for a second.
I'm thinking you were talking about Elastigirl. I'm like,
No,
okay, I can
Elastigirl. No. That's dumb.
Now Violet. Give me a second to think. Let me just try to remember. I'm drawing blanks here. I elaborate.
Okay. I think we can agree that Void, one of the new characters.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
She
now.
is a lesbian.
Probably.
It's Pride Month. It would be it's homophobic to say that she's not. And they had a nice little 5-second conversation, and I was like, lesbians right there.
I forget what she said, but it did come off as very homoerotic.
It was very flirty and cute and adorable, and I want it. I will only tolerate an Incredibles 3 if we get to that.
Oh boy, that's the next big ship, folks. Speaking of ships, they stop one at the end of the movie.
They do stop a ship.
But let's see. Who else could we talk about in terms of characters? I kind of don't want to talk about the villain just yet because that just feels like feels a little too soon. So let's talk about her brother instead. I didn't care for him.
I didn't care for him either, especially because, like you mentioned, so much of the first movie is, centered around this, like, very pessimistic and interesting view of, corporate America.
Which is in full force.
And then in Incredibles 2, we kind of get, like, but no, this is a very good corporation. Especially which it just feels wrong. It almost feels like the twist. I was like expecting, like, this looks like a big evil corporate building, but then it's like, no, he's actually a really good boy.
Well, he's still corporate in that he still wants to make money off of these people, which is still not admirable at all. But
it's very weird because while he does want to do that, they also play him as, like, still being very nice and also being concerned with their well-being.
They kind of teeter that line very, very, very close. Like, he almost kind of falls into, like, just fake territory, but they just kind of bring him back into genuine, which it's like...
Well, it was almost... It's like it almost seemed so fake, but he literally does nothing to indicate that it is fake. And that's...
Yeah.
Because I guess, when the villain is revealed, I was expecting him to be in on it. I was like, oh, okay, so he's in on it too, right? And he just isn't. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then why is he such a fucking weirdo?
I don't know. Again, when you have a lot of money, you do a lot of weird things. But if you're a good person with a lot of money, sometimes you do weird things, but you're at least a decent person at heart. Like,
we stan.
Yes, very much so. Thank you, Bob Odenkirk, for bringing life to this wonderful character who is not wonderful at all. But
he wasn't great, and
and honestly, I don't think he did that good of a job voicing him either.
He did fine. It was not
he did
like
right. He did okay, but voice acting in general was like it was good. Not quite as good as the first, if only because the writing wasn't quite on par. But Samuel L. Jackson still killed it as Frozone, I'd say.
He did. I wish that we got some more of his wife.
I did too. But funnily enough, I think it was his wife that like his actual wife, Samuel L. Jackson, I'm talking about, who voiced Frozone's wife in the first film, but it's a completely different person in the second one.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But it's unfortunate the only moment of that we got in the second film was in the trailer already, so we pretty much saw everything.
Yeah. That should have been the villain reveal. It was Frozone's wife all along.
That's going to be the reveal in the third film.
That would be really strong.
we've canceled too many dinners, Frozone. You're gonna pay for this now.
Yeah. You keep trying to get the greater good. Well, I'm gonna destroy the greater good.
Oh man,
I love her. She's fantastic.
Great. It was really one of the best scenes of the first film. I really wish the second film kind of didn't refer to the first film that much. Though it wasn't overbearing, but it was still like there were a lot of references to that first film, and it played so many of the same beats as well, with a couple differences here and there. Like there's also just some dialogue straight just ripped out of the first film, like when Bob accepts the offer for the to go destroy the robot in the jungle, and he's like, "This is Mr. Incredible, I'm in." And then the second film, Elastigirl's like, or Helen, I would call her, whatever, says like, okay, like she accepts the offer that the new rich corporate company wants to make superheroes legal again, make them better in the public view.
Also, groan-worthy moment when he's like, "Let's make superheroes legal again." I'm like, ugh. Oh God! Especially like because he's not the bad guy, and you were clearly trying to reference the Donald, and like, what is your point? What? They just did it to be like, haha! It's like that other thing where people say "make blank blank again," but it doesn't serve any purpose. Like there is like. It's not like the commentary is bad, just there's nothing. It just... Ugh.
And Edna Mode comes back again,
and she's fun, but also another very felt like tacked on portion of the film.
Kind of did. Like, it kind of makes sense. Kind of sort of makes sense, because like Frozone had shown up to try to babysit Jack.
It definitely, it makes sense. It's just like... Well, we gotta also get Edna Mode in the film. How can we get her in there? And I'm glad because, Edna Mode's very fun.
Yeah, and again, Brad Bird, who unfortunately did not voice another bird in this film. That was still another missed opportunity. Instead voiced the fashion designer again. He's so good in that role. He kills it. I love him so well. But, I mean, again, the writing just isn't quite as good as the first film. Because like and it also hit like some of the same jokes as well, which it was kind of funny. They played on the whole like when she was like going into her demonstration room, her laboratory, and doing all the unlocking all the mechanisms, like having her eyes scanned, having her voice activated. They did that again the second one, but with Jack, which was kind of cute, but it was still better than the first one because. Yeah, at least they didn't have like another gun come out in the second one that was about to like blow away Bob like it did with Helen.
That was a little awkward.
Yeah, God, I that was one of my favorite moments of the first film.
It's pretty good.
Something the film does have that we can also compare to the first one, but is still of its own, even though it's not quite as good, is the villain, and. Of course, it's the sister of the brother.
Yeah, it's real obvious.
Yeah, it's like super obvious if you think about it hard enough. Like I was thinking, oh, maybe they're not going to go in that direction. They kind of tampered with my expectations just a little bit before they made the reveal, but the reveal was still very obvious. Which again, I don't have a problem with as long as they make the character interesting. And
the answer is no, not.
They give her decent motivations. Like, with the first film, Frozone just wanted to make supers.
Frozone. What's his name?
Syndrome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I confused the name so much. Syndrome wanted to make everyone a super so that no one would be super. And he had he also wanted to get back at Mr. Incredible in order to just get back at him because he rejected him when he was younger. Which
and that's like a very understandable.
Yeah. Well, understandable, but just like the way he does it is very unnecessary. Which is
unnecessary, yes, but
yeah. And in the second film, well, she wants to again, make heroes hateable, completely hateable, because her and her brother's father depended on heroes too much.
Yeah, like he tried to get, like, he had a phone direct line to some heroes, and his house got broken into, and when he called them, they didn't answer, mostly because they were now illegal.
Well, I think they were also dead.
Were they dead as well?
I think. Well, they mentioned, what was his name? The guy who was the skeleton, the skelly man that Mr. Incredible hid behind in the first film.
Oh yeah,
I think that was one of them.
I can't remember the name, but
yeah, but I can't remember if he was dead or not by that point. But anyway, regardless,
and then he got shot, and she's like, "Oh, if he had just hid in their safe room, they would have been fine." And I'm kind of also like, "Well, yeah, your dad does sound like a big old dummy."
Yeah, and like I think what she's trying to say, though, like, as I'm reading through the Wikipedia, which made me kind of understand her motivations a bit more, she doesn't want society to become too dependent on heroes.
Yes, and I think that's fair. I see what she's getting at.
Yes, I see what she's getting at, because, like, I mean, you don't want, like, Superman to just help you pick up a penny on the ground, but you're too just lazy to do that, because that's just if you get to that point, then just you're fucking morons. You should probably deserve to be dead. And I think her dialogue was mostly good, but she's just still not as entertaining as Syndrome.
Can we talk about how, because she's like the villain, but she also takes on this, like, persona called, like, the Screen Slaver.
Yeah.
For, like, the first half of the movie, and you don't know who it is. And that iteration of the villain is fucking unbearable.
You mean to the eyes, or just, like, in general?
No, and just everything. What it's literally just, the villain is What If phones, but too much. like some of, like, the things he said, I'm like, is this supposed to be like, oh man, he's got a point, and he's like, you don't play games, you watch game shows. Bitch, who the fuck watches game shows other than, like, 70-year-old women?
Yeah, the dialogue.
What are you talking about? Like,
it was kind of,
like, it feels like it was written 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think, though, to be fair, it was all just like a front in order for her to test out her brainwashing glasses, which, I mean,
which is true, and I will say the villain does look a little spooky.
Yeah, he does look a little spooky.
He's got a scary little mask. It's okay.
Yeah. I was spooked, but for reasons I'll say a little bit later. But yeah, I think Syndrome had charisma, had personality, had just excellently written dialogue. He was just such an entertaining character to watch. Like, regardless of, like, whatever the hell his motivations were, he was just fun to see do bad things and be all menacing, even though really he's just some goofy kid who thought he could do like a lot more than he actually did, and he's also very, very dumb. Meanwhile, she's smart, but she's just, like, very lackadaisical, and it just kind of takes away from it.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, at least she didn't die in the end, I guess, but she probably, I mean, they really couldn't think of a good way to kill her off like they did with the first one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that probably would have been too much in the whole, calling back to the first one, which they do that a lot. Yeah,
they do that a decent amount.
Yeah. Again, not too overbearing, but still enough for people to notice. I guess we could talk about how the film looks.
And it's very, like I said, I've almost no complaints there.
Very much so.
It looks great.
Yeah, I would say it looks great as well. There is one issue I do have, though, and this is a personal one. So the animation, I think it's very good looking. It's very fluid. I like a lot of the effects that they do. I especially like, a lot of people complain about this for obvious reasons, but the epilepsy moments, I actually thought,
Yeah, that I did see the people. It could have used a little warning there.
yeah, I'm not sure why there wasn't one before the film came out, but luckily there was one that movie theaters are now putting out on printed paper.
Yeah,
that's what I saw when I went.
Oh, really? I mean, I saw it opening night, so maybe I'll see if there's one at the theater when I go there.
Yeah. It essentially plastered all over the theater. Like, Incredibles 2 has a sequence that has flashing lights. It actually should have said 2 sequences.
Again, there's actually just kind of a lot of flashing lights in general.
Yeah.
And that was like a very like intense flashing lights too.
Oh yeah, very much.
Like,
so.
I was kind of like, whoa.
Yeah. But like, if you could bear it, and if you're not having a seizure whilst it's going on,
if you don't have an actual medical condition that makes you basically unable to watch this film, Pixar.
Yeah, it looks good,
especially
it does,
the
second scene, the fight scene with the screenslaver
in the hypno cage thing almost.
Like it almost looks cell shaded, like that kind. It was like it looks so good. I love that.
It was very cool.
Yeah, it was a very, very good effect. But my issue with the visuals overall, that it has to do with the character models. I think they're just too modern Pixar.
Yeah,
because like, it's like, and by that I mean, it just seems very homogenous, very, very of the same, very like kind of big-eyed, regular face. They still have like it still feels like the Incredibles style, but like I still get hints of like other films from Pixar from this decade, like Finding, like some people, like they look kind of the same as the humans in Finding Dory, or even in Coco.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which again I haven't seen, but it's there. It's where again the first film, it's aged mostly well. Like I think it's aged, but the character models and just the look, it's very distinct. It's more, I think I like the detail better on the first film's character models than the second ones. Because they kind of changed. They changed the way they look in the second one, and I just don't really care for it. But again, other than that, film looks incredible. And I made a joke. I think. Was that a joke?
I don't know. Let me look it up. That's a joke.
Yay! Made our quota for the day, so
joke confirmed.
Funny.
Despacito 2 confirmed.
Okay. Let's see. The soundtrack was also quite excellent. I have no complaints there either. I think it's pretty much on par with the first film too.
Yeah, nice. You know what? It was even better the second time. The first time I was like, ooh, and then the second time you really brought it home.
Honestly, like, I think we've pretty much said everything. I think
we've covered it pretty well. I mean, that's the thing. I almost wish there was like a little more to talk about, but there is really just not as much to discuss. It's just kind of. It's you know,
that exists.
It's your Incredibles too.
Yeah, I think going back to what I was saying earlier, my biggest issue with it is that the understatement, it just lacks.
Yeah, and the general like that's kind of gone, and in a few small cases, it actually does kind of scale that back, like you said, with like the corporate, like that kind of almost flip-flops from like a big negative to now like, oh man, corporations save the day.
I think what stuck out to me though was in the first film they had all of this super advanced technology, and it all looks very high tech, all look very interesting. There was only a couple of occasions where they just kind of commented on that. Like there was one part where Helen's like going through trying to save Bob. She sees the rocket that they're about to send out to the city with the big robot in it, and she just says, "A rocket?"
Yeah.
Which, and like that's it. They don't say anything else. And there's just like so much stuff that goes on where it's like, wow, this technology is amazing. Why isn't this readily available anywhere else? Or how they don't comment on it, and they don't have to, because again, it's self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
It conveys that this is a high-tech world, or at least the people who are the bad guys have a lot of money, and are able to make this technology. The second film, when she gets the motorcycle, she immediately just kind of not goes in depth, not like a commercial, but she just like describes it with some details, like, oh, it's an electric motorcycle. Oh, it has a little bit more torque on it. Oh, I think I can do this. Whereas like, and again, back to the first film, during the sequence where Bob is like weight training and spending more time with his family, he gets like a new car, or I think it was the same car as before, but maybe I'm not sure.
I know what you mean.
It's just like it's like there. To be fair, that whole sequence they had no dialogue, but there isn't a sequence in the second film that doesn't have dialogue either. Like even when he's spending more time with his family, trying to get more well acquainted with them in the second film, now that Helen is going to destroy a stupid villain because whatever, her father died, he's just still kind of speaking throughout, like, oh, hey, this is how you do math, this is how, let me help you with your boy problems, Violet. Oh, wait, I didn't help at all, because,
wah, wah.
Honestly, though, that's pretty much all I've got.
The only other brief thing that I'd bring up is the weird way that, politics are so involved with this movie. Like, it's a lot like they play a big role in the actual plot, not like any specific political ideologies or anything, just, politicians are characters. And despite that, it's like the driving force behind this major piece of international legislation is the ambassador.
Yeah. I mean, there were more people than that. Because then a single judge just being like, I've decided that this is also true. And I'm like, so why do we sign it? It was the international. It was just kind of a mess. Not that I'm expecting like totally accurate, political policy in Incredibles 2. It was just a little like, what? Let's see.
I think that about covers it. It's just, again, it's not a ton to talk about. Like, it's Incredibles 2. It's not bad.
I think if I watch it more, I'll probably appreciate it maybe more, or maybe like it less.
I'll be interested to see, because I'm seeing it again later today, and I'll be interested to see if I like it more or less.
Yeah. Let me know what you think of it. Give me like a 1-sentence audio thoughts on what you thought of the second film when you saw it again today.
There we go.
Later, if you can.
A little update.
Alright. So yeah, here's that update right now. I'm gonna put it in right now. So here's what he thought of Incredibles 2 the second time you saw it.
Bisexual.
Oh boy, what wasn't those amazing thoughts?
Those are great thoughts. Thank you, me.
So much so. Yes. Thank you, future you. I hope I remember that. Let me think here. Helen's thick.
She's very thick.
She's still thick, I should say.
Yeah, I was gonna say she was thick in the first one, but we stand. We appreciate.
Yeah. Very, very much so. Very, very much. They also had cuss words ? In this one, which isn't very.
I mean, I noticed they
often
say "Oh my God."
Well, I mean, they the sister said like, beat them the hell, blow them the hell away. And she's like, "Oh, I'll be damned." And there's like,
yeah, I think they did say like a good old Shadow the Hedgehog. Damn, where are those damn Chaos Emeralds?
Up your damn ass.
That would have been really strong addition to the movie.
And like, yeah, and honestly, I like it when people cuss in movies because like
it's fun.
Because it's not just that; it's just more accurate to the world because
it does feel like a little more accurate. Like, all right, I'm up in this world now where we're not saying poopy and darn.
But heck is still fun to say. Like,
heck is pretty good.
Heckin' good. Heck yeah. Oh man, we're gonna get limited advertisements so badly with our horrible cussing. God heck it. Heck dang it. Dang, Helen's thick in this movie.
Dang, she's thick.
Man. I think that's pretty much all we've got.
I think we've circled the wagons.
Yeah, I would say so. So, I guess go watch it. It's still pretty good.
It's still good. It's good.
Again, pales very much in comparison to the first film, but as its own entity, it's all right.
It's a good little movie, especially if you bring your children.
Yeah.
Bring your children, and to the person who was sitting next to me, who was suggesting that children should not be in attendance of this children's movie, fuck you. What even is wrong with you?
I don't know. He makes a decent point because children are annoying.
I agree. Still.
Yeah, but honestly though, the most annoying person who was at the movie when I was watching was this one of the dads who was sitting behind me. He was just laughing his ass off, like very loudly, very audibly
at every little dad. There's a lot of dad humor.
Yeah. Ugh. Excuse me. Let's see.
Now that's funny.
Yeah, so much. But I honestly hope there's not a third one.
Probably that'd be a bad idea.
They pretty much done with it, unless they go with the Violet X, what's her face,
Void. That I'm here for.
Yeah. That's something I haven't noticed either. They don't have hero names for Violet or Dash yet.
That'll be the entirety of the third movie.
Yeah. Maybe again, I say that I don't want to see a third one because really there really isn't any reason to now. But something interesting that Brad Bird said at the in making the second one, he didn't want to do like a time skip or anything along those lines. He wanted to just make a direct sequel, like start right where the first film ended. Now, if they do a third one, which in all likelihood they probably will, because like this movie has made $231 million to date in the box office, which like that's a lot of cash.
That's a lot of dollars.
That is a lot of cash monies that I will never see in my lifespan. Even though I should have twice the income that I should be making by the time I'm 35, which it's luckily it's not for a good while, so I still got time, man. But if they do a third one, that's probably the only way they could do it, because I don't want to see them as kids again. Because like, have them mature, have them grow up, have them do something. Have Violet marry Void, and then or something like that. I don't know. That's the only way that I could see them making a third one.
Yeah.
All right, but that's pretty much all I got. What about you, Cam? Any final words on in The Incredible Man 2, the sequel?
No, I think we did a pretty good job. I think congratulations, us.
Yeah, nice work. Good job. I'm sure we'll have much more to talk about the next episode when we talk about 6 albums.
There's a lot of albums.
A lot of albums from Gorillaz. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, thank you all for listening to our bullshit and our heckin' dumb thoughts on this stupid movie.
Stupid, dumb movie for babies and children.
And we'll see you on the next episode of Everything But another sequel. So, yeah, that's all I got. Damn, she's thick.
Damn!